to the kitchen earlier than they did in the morning and light those fires and put those pans in to cook. And that's all I did. They took over from when they got there and did everything else.
Okay, how long were you there?
I don't remember. I really don't remember how long I was there. In fact, I tried awfully hard to forget that whole side of the ocean when I got back. I really did. I tried.
I was going to ask you, you know, the Vietnam vets talk about having post-traumatic stress disorder, and those of you who were in as long a combat as you were in, did you have that when you came home?
I have it now.
Okay.
I have it now.
You have flashbacks?
No, not really. I don't. I used to have a lot of dreams. In each and every dream that I had, I was in combat, and I was on the losing side. And we didn't lose very many battles. We had, I'd say, an elite group of people, and we tried hard to keep the other alive, and we didn't lose very many people out of our company. Very, very, very few. And but when I would have these dreams, it was always the other way, you know. We were losing everything, losing men. We were cornered in some place where we couldn't get out and all that kind of stuff. And all the years that I was having those dreams, I only won one battle. And I never will forget, there was a river and a little town here and a little town there. And there was a train on this side that was fixing to cross over the river to this other town. And it had a guard, a German guard, on the top of each one of the cars down through there. And I jumped up on the back of that train with a rifle in this dream. And I knocked off every one of those men that was on that train. And finally got up to the engine. And when I woke up, I was in the locomotive with the engineer.
So you won that one.
Oh,
Did you have problems with loud noises and things like that?
I do now. Not tremendously bad, but we had newly elected a pastor down in our church. And he preaches so loud that I am sick when I walk out there. I mean, absolutely sick. I'm not going back anymore as long as he's there. I don't know what makes a person want to do that, because with half the volume he preaches with, everybody could hear him real well.
Okay.
But something like that, yes, it was.
So your nerves were affected?
Oh, lands, yes. Lands, yes.
But now, I believe you told me that when you were a young man, when you first came back, you worked real hard.
I did. In fact, I've worked hard ever since.
To push these thoughts back to the back of your mind.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that matter, yes.
So that you wouldn't have to think about it. Everett, when you got home to Rudy, Arkansas, how did it feel being home?
I guess it's kind of like a bird out of a cage. I didn't stay home a whole lot. There's one thing that I always did. I had a brother. He wanted to go somewhere. He would get up and leave, and wouldn't tell Mother where he was going or when he would be back. But I always told Mother where I was going and approximately when I would be back. But I guess I wasn't wild. I didn't do anything mean. I didn't drink or anything like that. But I dated every night when I was home.
Okay.
Just wanting to
Yeah.
go somewhere.
Okay.
Went to Bob Burns Theater and spent a whole 15 cents seeing a show. You know where it is, don't you?
Yes, I know where it is. But your experience in the war has changed you, and is it hard to adjust to being back to a little rural town?
No, I don't think so. Not really.
When did you meet your wife?
Well, I guess the first day I went to school.
Okay, so she's a childhood sweetheart.
Yeah.
Did y'all correspond all the time you were overseas?
No, and we never had a date before then. Yeah.
All right.
But anyway, she was bookkeeper.
Hi, I'm Pam from Home Health.
She was bookkeeper and clerk for Syconi's grocery store there in Rudy. So I went in one day and asked her to go to the show with me that night. And so I fooled around there a little while, and she never said anything. So I started to leave, and she said, "You leaving?" I said, "Well, I guess I am. You never did tell me that you would go to the show with me." And she said, "Well, I didn't tell you that I wouldn't go." So that was our first date.
What was your wife's name? What is your wife's name?
Billie Jean
And her last name, her maiden name?
Young.
Billie Jean Young. Okay. And how many years have y'all been married?
We had our 60th anniversary the 15th of February.
Okay, and how many children do you have?
We have 3 living.
Okay.
You know, we lost our son back in November.
So you had 4 children, you had,
We had 5 in all. We lost one baby,
okay.
a year-old, well over a year old.
If you had to do things over, what things would you change?
Well, I would change my ministry a whole lot because all down through the years I pastored a church and worked construction. At one time, I guess I built as many houses at one time as anyone around here. And if I had it to do over, I'd stick with the church work and forget the construction.
Okay, you would go full-time ministry
Right.
rather than being a lay pastor.
Yeah.
All right, if you had any advice to give to young people today, what would you give them?
Well, of course, the main thing is to stay out of trouble of all kinds, because they can make it if they stay out of trouble. Live the right kind of life. For an example, my son had passed away. He had 2 children, a girl and a boy. And he is a Marine, and he's getting ready to squat off on it. She works for a bank over in Fort Smith, and she's just climbing the ladder rapidly in that bank. But they've always been good kids, just real good. Well, the girl, she had lunch with us yesterday, dinner with us yesterday. They're just children to be proud of, and since they don't have a father, they're doing well for themselves.
Okay.
But he loved those kids. He and his wife had separated back years ago. But he was working over, Billy,
She's in there.
he was working for a trucking company over in the northeast part of the state. And he would drive home each and every night, although they furnished him a motel and everything. He'd still drive home so he could be with those kids.
Well, Everett, the Lord had a purpose for you,
Well,
and that you raised a good family. You did a lot of church work, a lot of the Lord's work, and so sometimes we don't see God's hand in our life until later years, do we?
I think that's true. That's the reason why I've thought so many times recently that if I could go back. I did pastor full time a few years, but most of the time I did construction and preached at the same time.
It's been a joy. Thank you.
Well, thank you for coming. I'm sorry we delayed you here this morning, but we
That's okay.
just had too much going on at one time. Billy is,
Yeah, she needs to get over here with him, and I think he sat just as long as he can sit.
no, I'm not tired at all. No.
Well, okay, what was it you wanted to tell me?
Well, we were up in the mountains over there in northern France and got so rugged that the jeeps couldn't get supplies into us. And the battalion commander sent word up to our company commander that he wanted 2 of his men to come back and work mules. I had worked mules all the time when I was a kid, you know. The only one in the company that had ever put a bridle on a mule. Well, I know that I'm going to get to go back, and I prayed and asked God to let me go be with one, let me go back, because you could at least sleep on a cot instead of on the foxhole. You could get a hot meal instead of rations. Now, I'm the one that's going back because I'm the only one here that knows how to work a mule. But they sent 2 other soldiers back rather than me, and they were both killed that night.
Everett.
That's the absolute truth.
So,
Absolute truth.
if you had gone back, you would have been killed, and you were
In
praying
all
that.
probability. Because they got in behind us and killed a lot of our men that night.
Okay, did they, what, the purpose of doing the mules was that they could transport the food and their supplies,
Dragging ammunition and
and
supplies.
because they couldn't get, the trucks up in through there.
The Jeeps done well getting through those woods. They could just slip up on you when you didn't even know it there. But this terrain got so rugged that they couldn't get any kind of vehicle over it. They carried ammunition and things they needed on the pack mules. In fact, I never will forget they used one of Hitler's pillboxes for, and they built a lot around it to keep they kept food in the pillbox and had a pen around it for the mules.
Okay. But there, one more time, the Lord sort of miraculously saved your life.
I could give you a lot more. Give you a lot more. It's just amazing. I mean, truly amazing how you get through something like that. I know, like, and it grieves me every time I hear of one of our soldiers getting killed in Iraq. Where they lose 1 or 2, not very many at the most, thank God. You know, we were losing thousands a day. We lost 444,000 American soldiers died in World War II. And that's a lot of people. They don't count the ones that was, crippled for life.
And still America supported our fighting forces.
They were 100% behind us as far as I know. And I just wonder how it would be if I was fighting now and knowing that there's so many people that don't care if we have a free country or not. You listen to some of these gooks on television, you wonder if they even know what freedom is or consider what it is or concerned about it. But it don't come free.
Yeah.
It never has for anybody, and it never will.
Freedom comes with a price,
It
doesn't it?
comes with a price, but it's worth it.
Yes.
It's worth the price. I realized that when just a kid when I went overseas. I definitely did understand what we were fighting for. And I thought, of course, more of the church than anything else. That, if Germany had occupied the United States, we wouldn't have had churches.
Thank you.
But thank you all for coming out. I appreciate it.